कुंजा विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंजा विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी राधा माधव कुंजा विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी राधा माधव कुंजा विहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि ओम तत्सत. So I could get me some water. Okay, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, verse number 23, the last verse of this chapter. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet nasta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Hari Om Tat Sat. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 1, titled Question by the Sages. Canto 1 title is Creation, verse number 23. ब्रूहि योगेश्वरे कृष्णे ब्रह्मण्ये धर्मवर्मणि स्वां कास्तामधुनोपेते धर्म काम शरणां गताः ब्रूहि योगेश्वरे कृष्णे ब्रह्मण्ये धर्मवर्मणे स्वां कास्तामधुनोपेते धर्मकां चरणां गतः ब्रूहि योगेश्वरे कृष्णे ब्रह्मण्ये धर्मवर्मणे स्वां कास्तामधुनोपेते धर्मकां चरणां गतः. Word to word translation. Bruhi, please tell. Yogis, Yoga Ishware, the Lord of all mystic powers. Krishna, Lord Krishna, Brahmane, the absolute truth. Dharma, religion. Varmani, Varmani, protector. Swam, own. Kastam, abode. Adura, nowadays. Upete, having gone away. Dharma, religion. Kam, unto whom. Saranam, shelter. Gataha, gone. Translation by His Divine Grace says Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Gopal ki jai. Since Sri Krishna, the absolute truth, the master of all mystic powers, has departed for his own abode, please tell us to whom the religious principles have now gone for shelter. Please repeat. Since Sri Krishna, the absolute truth, the master of all mystic powers, has departed for his own abode, please tell us to whom the religious principles have now gone for shelter. Try to understand. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmelitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langete Girim Yatkrupaaptamaham Vande Sri Gurum Devakarana Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Iswaram. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Okay. Thank you for joining. So, we are discussing the last verse of this first chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1. So far, the 5 questions have been asked. This is Suta Goswami speaking. Saunaka and other rishis assembled in Naimisharanya is asking the questions by the sages to Suta Goswami, because he heard from Sukadeva Goswami. So there are many parallels. The main big parallels in Srimad Bhagavatam is Bhagavatam start with the 6 questions asked by Saunaka and other rishis assembled in Naimisharanya to Suta Goswami. And because Suta Goswami second parallel, Suta Goswami has heard from. He was in the assembly of Sukadeva Goswami speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj was asking questions to Sukadeva Goswami. That is the number 1. This is number 2. But Bhagavatam start with number 2 parallel, which is Suta Goswami. But then we can see Canto 3 is Vidura is asking Maitreya. These are the 3 big parallels in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, but the first and second parallel we'll see end to end, whole Srimad Bhagavatam, even till last chapter also. Last canto, 12th canto also we see Suta Goswami speaking to Saunaka and other rishis. Last canto also, last chapter of last canto. But the Vidura and Maitreya will be only canto 3 and a few places here and there we'll see that. So now coming back to the Saunaka is asking questions. This is the last question. So far 5 questions were covered after establishing about Bhagavad Dharma, establishing the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, and then establishing the relation between the living entity, Vastu and Vastava, and then and also practicing on that relationship, personal relation with the Supreme Person, Sambandha, and then Abhideya, and then attaining the ultimate goal, which is the Krishna Prema. Those are 3 main things are established. There is no mention or all the unwanted or cheating religion or Upadharma, Chaladharma, all those things are rejected in this Srimad Bhagavatam right away in the first plate itself. Kaitava Dharma, it is mentioned. Nirmat Saranam Chatam. This is for those who are non envious. Otherwise, they will not be able to understand. But they will be able, by the association of devotees, they will get transformed. But mainly, this is meant, this is a purity. Srimad Bhagavatam bringing the topmost level of subject matter and bringing it transforms the living entity whoever comes in touch. So that is the main purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam. Unlike all other Vedic literatures, Vyasadeva has written this when he was in Samadhi stage, highest stage, as we are going to discuss about that yoga stage. Yoga, in this verse it is mentioned Yogeswara. So in that last stage is Samadhi. So that's when Vyasadeva has written after they receiving instruction from Narada Muni Srimad Bhagavatam. After writing before that, he wrote all so many 4 Vedas, Upanishads, 108 Upanishads, then Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita within that, and then Samhitas, then 17 Puranas, and even Vedanta Sutra he has written. But he was not happy. Then he has been told to write the most topmost literature and give the highest thing, the living entity who is hankering for this highest thing. Krishna Prema, the real love, genuine love, real Dharma. So then that's when he started writing this. Just like Valmiki also after 60,000 years was originally was a hunter, guided by Narada Muni, was transformed into a devotee. But when he came to his maturity, 60,000 years in Satyuga, then he wrote Ramayana. That's Valmiki Ramayana is more famous than all other Ramayans. So that's why it is writing transcendental literature is not for everyone. These days we see so many translations from so many people, but it is not going to really transform. By reading those, it's just going to be just like any other novel, or you pick up any other book, magazine, or souvenir. It's just information going through our senses, but nothing is happening with our consciousness. So that's why we have to pick up those books which is really coming from a transcendental personality who himself has transformed from these 3 modes of material nature. Then by associating, by reading his books, by hearing from him, then automatically we will be able to also get transformed. That is the main purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then so Saunaka and other rishis asking questions about the what is ultimate good for the people in general. That was the first question. And then what is the essence of all the scriptures? That was the second question. So and then why did Krishna appear in the womb of Mother Devaki and was there? That is the third question. And then the fourth question they are asking about narrate the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, Leela Avatara. Then fifth one is Guna Avataras, qualities. First one is qualities, qualitative incarnations, Purusha Avataras in terms of the material creation. And then also Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, you can also come to that. But the next one is the the actual transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Lord in different incarnations, Leela Avataras. And now coming to the last question. So what it means, the first 5 questions they are asking to in order, because in the first 3 verses it is mentioned about Bhagavad Dharma, as we were discussing yesterday also in Bhagavad Gita chapter 1. Beginning, interestingly, beginning and ending, there is a connection. Beginning is establishing the Dharma Kshetra, establishing Dharma, and then ending also, we see the verse also establishing how to come to the Dharma, Bhagavad Dharma. Otherwise, we will be implicated and with so much anxiety, Soka Samvik Manasa. Same here also we see that. So they are asking, the Bhagavatam started with establishing the supreme absolute truth, Satyam Param Dhimahi. Somehow or the other, living entity must come to this point. First point is established. And then now the last question is also, that's why they are going step by step. In order for us to understand the highest Dharma, Paro Dharma, Bhagavad Dharma, so whatever name we give, Eto Bhakti Radokshade Ahaitiki Apratma Suprasidati. Then only soul can be happy, really happy. So to come to that, then they are asking what is the essence of all the scriptures? What is the ultimate good? That is a holy name. Chanting the holy name of the Lord is the essence of all the scriptures. And then they're asking about the form of the Lord. So without going through holy name, we cannot understand the form. Then after the deepening our chanting, then we understand, we will be able to come to see the form of the Lord at some point, in these stages of bhakti, later stages, not in the beginning stages. Then later on, we will be also seeing the qualities of the Supreme Lord, understanding and seeing the qualities of the Supreme Lord, Nama, Rupa, Guna. And then finally, we will also see the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Krishna will reveal those. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila. This is all coming. Starting process is chanting the holy name of the Lord. So that's why they are asking in a sequential fashion. The whole thing, these questions are answered also in that particular sequence. Briefly, it is explained in the next chapter, second chapter, Divinity and Divine Service. But whole Srimad Bhagavatam is an answer to these 6 questions. So then the now sixth question is, okay, after asking about this 5 important questions, then they're asking, okay, Bruhi Yogesa, Bruhi, please tell me. In this verse, many important words are there. Yogeswara. Who is that Yogeswara? First of all, what is yoga means? That we have to understand. Then we have to understand who is actually Yogeswara means. Who is that personality? Why are they using that particular word in this verse? Yogeswara Krishna. It is mentioned already Krishna. Who is Yogeswara Krishna? Then the Bruhi Yogeswara Krishna. Then Dharmakam Charanamrita. What is that? Bruhi Yogeswara Krishna. Brahmanya Dharma Varmanya. Brahmanya. What does it mean by Brahmanya? And Dharma Varmani. What is this Dharma Varmani means? Brahmanya Dharma Varmani. Swam Kastam Adunopete. His own abode. So they're asking, okay, Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was there before Kali Yuga is about to appear. 125 years he was there on this planet. He was there, born in Mathura, and then he was taken to Vrindavan, Gokul. There also he changed his location, 2-3 locations because of the demons killing of the demons. They are afraid, especially the Nanda and Nanda's family, Upananda. They're all afraid because every day so many demons are coming. Krishna is killing, and they are afraid. Oh, why this is happening? Let's change the location. So like that, they changed from one forest to another forest, but within all Vrindavan. That is up to 6 years, 6 years plus around. So then the Krishna moved. From there he came to 6 or 11, I forget. So then he came to Mathura. And then later on, after killing Kamsa, then Mathura, in the mid of the night, during the Jarasanda's war, he is coming 17th time, last time, to fight with Krishna. At the same time, another personality, I think Kalanemi or Kalakanya, another great fighter. Then he is also coming. So both of them are coming at the same time. So Krishna created a Dwaraka in the mid of a night by the mystic power. So without disturbing, nobody knew what's happening. When they woke up, they saw. So that is Dwaraka. So finally, Dwaraka, he spent so much time as a king, almost we can say at least 90 years or 85 to 90 years or more. Most of the time he was there in Dwaraka only, as a king, because he has so many expanded. He married 16,008. Then he had with each of them there were 10 sons at least or more. So then almost it became like a huge dynasty. So that is the answer. That's the Krishna is there 125. So they're asking this question: Ruhi Yogeshwar Krishna Brahmanya Dharma Varmani Swam Kastam Adunopete. He was there, but then he left. He went back. Then what happened? Where did this religion go? You mentioned, okay, first Bhagavatam is establishing the supreme dharma, highest dharma. Krishna was there. Then we understand. Everything was going nicely because when does Krishna come? When does the Lord come to this world from his abode? यदा 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 हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्. Only when the especially more than dharma, second line, second verse is also important. Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya chadushkutam dharma samsthapanardaya sambhavam yuge. He comes to especially protect. That's why it is mentioned as Brahmanya Dharma Varmani. Brahmanya means one is aspect is always protecting, giving pleasure to his Brahmanas and cows. That's why when they moved from one village to another village, within that Gokul, before that they were in some other place, then they moved to Gokul Mahavan, between two forests. So they at that time also when they are moving, it is mentioned by Sri Prabhupada in the purport that they put all the children and the what do you call the bullock carts. Bullock carts were going in the front, and then on the bullock cart they put the small children and also the elderly ladies. So old people and also children. So they're always protecting, and then all the areas of front the cows are there and the carts are there at the back, and then at the back all these cowherd boys, they're all protecting, surrounded this whole place. Even when they came final destination or when they stopped in the middle for rest, that time also they formed in a circle in a way that these carts are placed, one side covered and other side they all sat down to protect all others, especially children and women. So this is what, and old people. This way we see that Krishna is always protecting the cows, the small cows, the calves. He is taking personal care of the cows and calves, brahmanas, children. So in this way, Krishna is always trying to protect. He is the cowherding business anyway. So that from his childhood we see that, and in the Golok Vrindavan also, that is what go means. That you can see that his abode, name of his abode. In within the Vaikuntha, there is the highest, there is a huge place. It is called Golok Vrindavan, major portion. That Goloka, go means senses, go also means cows. So that you can imagine, his abode itself is so much emphasized as cows and brahmanas and senses. Is always pleasing, giving pleasure to his devotees who are always absorbed in his service. So that's what go means. Golok Vrindavan. It is mentioned. Chintamani prakara sadmasu kalpa vriksha laksha vruteshu surabhir abhipalayantam. Lakshmi Sahasra Satasambhrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. That's why it's called Govinda. So he has asked, taken a calf to him as a Srinivasa. So that's another way he got his name when he appeared as Lord Srinivasa here. So now here that's why it is mentioned. So why did they ask this question? We can see also so the establishing first Bhagavad Dharma. They're asking now where did this all this religion go? Where did this Dharma go? When Krishna was there, he was establishing Dharma, he was protecting all Dharma, protecting Brahmanas and cows. So much atrocities were going on in terms of Kamsa, in terms of Jarasandha, in terms of all these Jarasandha's friends. All together they all formed alliance actually. Kamsa made an alliance, big alliance with all these great fighters, great asuras, demoniac personalities, so that nobody can defeat him. So now Krishna has come to annihilate all of them, but also he giving pleasure to Brahmanas and cows, and especially Vrindavan Vasis, those who are fully at the highest platform to exchange the real rasa, the love. So that's why Krishna appeared. Now, okay, Krishna now he left at 125 years. Now, what is going to happen to us? Where are we going to take shelter? How are we going to know Dharma? When there is a problem, how do we know? So that's what they are asking. So now so that is the question they are asking. Then what does it mean to us? What does it mean to us? When there is a problem, who we need to approach? So from this verse, it is mentioned that it is mentioning that we have to approach the book Bhagavata and person Bhagavata. The book Bhagavata is Srimad Bhagavatam. It is called sound representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. sound representation, book Bhagavata. And person Bhagavata is the devotee of the Lord, Mahabhagavata. Bhagavata, Mahabhagavata, devotee and pure devotee of the Lord, exalted devotee of the Lord. So that's it. It's very important to, without taking shelter of a pure devotee of the Lord, without taking shelter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is no way we can come to understand or develop relationship, develop rasa relationship or rasa taste for holy name. Nor we can understand the quality, nor we can understand the form of the Lord, nor we can understand the past tense of the Lord. So that's why the last question is also important. Okay, first question starting with establishing the supreme dharma, but how are we going to come to that understanding? How are we going to enlighten our senses, our mind, our intelligence to enhance our relationship? Because if we Sambandha Jnana is the first one we need to develop. If we have that full relation, we understand fully what is our relationship between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and us, living entity, then why we are suffering, why we are going through so many difficulties, why we are not able to understand what is reality, what is not the reality. Because we haven't really, our mind, intelligence, senses, our nine holes are not fully transformed from material to trans. That's what Prabhupada explains in another class. Bhagavad Dharma means to transform this gross and subtle body into spiritual body. That's what Bhagavad Dharma means. Otherwise, this Dharma means we can do, so, but we'll go through that. So, one by one, from Bruhi Yogesha Krishna, each word we'll take. So, that's what it means. We have to consult book Bhagavata, person Bhagavata. That means, let's say we get a problem, just like even a COVID situation. Materially, also we see that example. COVID situation, if there is a problem, even a small problem, health problem, can we go to doctor? Most of the times, unless it is emergency, we don't go because it's unnecessary risk also. And there are also doctors also or primary care and all. They don't they don't want us to go there. Most of the time, it is happening on the phone. They will send their prescription through pharmacy to send it to us, and then we get that. So the same way. So when there is a problem, that's how we are not personally seeing. We are just getting. So that what we are supposed to do. Same way, so when Krishna, we are not able to see Krishna. We are not in that time of Dwapara Yuga where Krishna was there. Neither we are in the time of 500 years ago where Chaitanya Mahakrishna appeared as even not that time. Now Krishna is not there personally. He is there, but we are not able to see him. So then where are we going to take shelter when there is a problem? Definitely problem. Nobody can say that we don't have a problem in our life. Everybody has a problem. Everybody has to go through it. Then whom they have to approach and take shelter? First one is regularly that they have to approach Srimad Bhagavatam regularly. But that cannot be understood just like that. When we read, we will not be able to understand. Many times we have to read, but on top of it, we have to hear from the person Bhagavata. That is the main important. So that's why as you read, Srila Prabhupada is going to guide us through his Bhakti Vedanta purports. Is guiding us to, sending us to the devotees whenever we have doubt, depending on seriousness, sincerity. Then Krishna is sending through Srila Prabhupada, through his person Bhagavata, is sending to right place to answer those questions, to resolve those problems, to open up our dilemmas, confusions, whatever we have in our mind, that will get resolved by approaching the person Bhagavata or his representatives. So that's why it is very important. As we can see the material problems also we approach. We try to solve the problem with a close friend if there is a problem generally. But it is more importantly, it is very important to discuss with the devotees of the Lord. Those who are advanced, it is important whenever we get problem, so that it makes it easier for us to go through, and then it also makes us to look at in a different perspective, then see how we can resolve the situation with the spiritual master or his representative or advanced devotees as much as possible. So that's what this verse is telling. Don't try to understand dharma, don't take dharma in your own hands and try to resolve it. That's what it's telling. Only way we can resolve it, only way we can transform this gross and subtle body is by approaching through a person Bhagavata or book Bhagavata. That's what this verse, result of the verse, the answer of that verse, they are telling them where did Krishna and where did this religion taken, Dharma taken shelter. That is Prabhupada explaining the purport in one line, last line. Srimad Bhagavatam. Later on, this will be explained in the next chapters, second and third chapters. Srimad Bhagavatam is the place where all the dharma, everything is mentioned. So that's why Srimad Bhagavatam is very important. So now coming back to the verse, Bruhi Yogeswara Krishna. So Bruhi means please explain. Yogeswara. Now what is yoga means? Yo and Ga, these two letters. Yoga means, Yo means two, Ga means unite, to go, means to unite, to go with the Lord, to connect with the Lord. That is what actual yoga means. And then Yogeswara. Iswara means controller. There is a yoga Iswara. Vaivojya yoga and Iswara is one thing. And then there is Yogeswara. Vaivojyi Iswara. Here there is one personality. Yogeswara is Supreme Personality Godhead Sri Krishna. Yogi Iswara is Lord Shiva. What is the difference? We have to see. So yoga is so the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the controller, is the master of all the mystic power, master of all the mysticism. He is the master of the whole system. Anything we have in this whole world, Jagat, anywhere material, spiritual world, it's all creation of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. So nobody is beyond the whole this Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. Within that yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, you have this mystic power. The master, the whole system is created. So who is in charge of the system? In charge of the system is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So nobody is beyond, nobody is perfect in that master of the message. That is called Yogeswara. But who is the, out of those who are the yogis, ordinary yogis we see, but the perfect yogi is Lord Shiva. That's why it's called Yogiswara. The actual yoga system is the master is Krishna. And Prabhupada is also explaining the living entity, the jiva can come up to 68% partially, minutely, even including Brahma. Brahma is also jiva tattva, but higher than us. So they can come to 68% of mystic power. They can create things, they can do so many magics, magic feats. We will come to that. And when it comes to Lord Shiva, is on 78 or 72%. But he is not a Jiva Tattva. So he is higher than, he is not in a minute. He is full. Mystic power up to 78. Lord Narayan is 96%. Or 92%. 96% I think, yeah. 96%. Lord Ramachandra 98%, and then Krishna is in full 100%. So that's what Prabhupada is explaining this Yogeswara means. So yoga means mystic power. Also, this is what is explained here as Lord of all mystic powers. Yogeswara means, that's why you may get confused. Prabhupada is explaining. So in this we can see in the fourth canto also, when after I think Daksha Prajapati, the Daksha Yajna, when Lord Shiva was cursed by Daksha. So after that whole incident, then Brahma and all of them took all the demigod. They went to the Kailas. So where the Kailas is like a not ordinary place. Nobody can approach. Many people went to Everest, Mount Everest, but people cannot approach Kailas. People cannot climb Kailas. So many people tried, but nobody could go. So it's so much high altitude, and it's always covered with ice and snow. And those who doesn't have any sinful activity, they only can go. Ordinary mortal person cannot go unless he is Mahabhagavata, pure devotee of the Lord, those who have received the mercy of Lord Shiva, they can only go. It is called, it is also named as Mount Meru, not Sumeru, Meru, Kailash. That's where Lord Shiva is residing in the material world. This Kailash is also there in Mahesh Dham, in the spiritual world also. The place where we are in is called Devi Dham. It is mentioned here. Devi Mahesh Haridham Suteshu Teshu Tete Prabhava Nichya Prakataschayana Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajam. This material world is called Devi Dham or Durga Dham. Durga Devi resides in this material world. She is the in charge, control of this particular place, it is material world, Durga Dham, Devi Dham. Then above this is the Mahesh Dham. That Mahesh Dham is some portion is 1/4 portion or so is in the spiritual world where Sadasiva is residing, and the 3/4 is there. Mahakala, Padma, and a few other places are described. Kailash is there in that 3/4, which is in there in the material world. This Mahesh Dham is between material world and spiritual world. There is Viraja river in between. Viraja river means causal ocean, you can say. Brahma Jyoti, and so many different names are given. And these yogis, those who are Brahma, what do you call, yogis, and also jnanis, they are meditating, they are trying to merge, they are trying to liberate themselves and merge into Brahman effulgence. They are not worshipping the personal form of the Lord. They don't have any relationship or rasa. There is no variety in Brahman effulgence. They are trying to merge. That is called Viraja river. In order for us to attain spiritual body, we have to cross over the Viraja river, cross over the material universe. 7 on the topmost planet, and 7 layers are there: earth, water, air, fire, and mind and false ego. Ego. These 7 layers are there. After crossing over the 7 layers, then through Viraja river, Brahmana Effulgence, then you enter into the spiritual world, Vaikuntha. Depending on our relationship and rasa, whether we are in the rest of the Vaikuntha, or Ayodhya, or Dwaraka, or Mathura, or Jagannath Puri, or Golok Vrindavan. Highest is Golok Vrindavan. So that is where it is explained, this Devi Mahesh Dham. The Mahesh Dham is above that Viraja river. That 1/4 of that portion of Mahesh Dham is in the Viraja river, where Lord Sadashiv is residing, who is always there only. But his expansion, Lord Shiva, is in the material world, in that 3/4. So the Kailash is there. So one Kailash is also there in the material world we are talking about. So that's where when Brahma and all the demigods he took to pacify Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva has to be brought again, because he needs to receive the share also. He needs to be part of the sacrifice. Otherwise, Lord Vishnu will not be satisfied. So is the just like another way, Yogeshwara and Yogishwara difference also. Just like the Lord is the supreme personality of Godhead. Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu is the supreme personality of Godhead. Especially Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. And when it comes to Lord Shiva, is the Vaishnavanam Yathasambhu, is the topmost Vaishnava, topmost devotee. Same way. So Yogeshwara means the master, the ultimate master, the supreme master of all the mysteries. The whole system was created by him. He is the controller. But when Lord Shiva, yes, there are so many yogis in terms of the demigods, or there are so many yogis we may hear and see in this material world also. Nobody can beat Shiva. Lord Shiva cannot be, even Kamadev tried to disturb Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva bound him, Kamadev. But you can see again the example also when Lord Krishna has taken Mohini Murti. Lord Shiva wants to see him. Actual Supreme Lord Shri Krishna in that form. Then he was captivated. Then he was running behind, because this is what master of the mysticism, Yogeshwara, means. That's why that is the difference between Krishna and other personalities. Even Lord Shiva was so much captivated and ran towards that Mohini Murti, who is none other than Supreme Personality. So there Prabhupada is explaining in the purport, Lord Shiva is not attracted by any personalities. Because it is Krishna himself, that's why he was captivated. It is not so much that he was captivated by the illusory energy or he is captivated by any other reason, because he was captivated by the supreme person, supreme personality of God. He was always meditating on sankarshan. So that's what Lord Shiva himself is telling in fourth canto. Another verse is there. Sattvam visuddha sattvam vasudeva sabditam mano vidiyate. I'm always meditating. That's why I didn't get up when Daksha Prajapati, everybody got up when he walked in. Lord Shiva didn't get up because he was always meditating on the Supreme Person. His position is not like Daksha. Even though he is Prajapati, he doesn't need to get up. His position is higher than. He's not a Jiva Tattva. He's not ordinary living entity. So that is the Lord Shiva's position. So Lord, when Brahma and all these demigods went, so they went to this place, beautiful place. It is explained there where Saugandhika forest in the Kailash, so many beautifully explained the trees and all kinds of fruits, special, all so many lotuses, so much smell, nice, beautiful smell is coming in that area, and within that, then there is a Ganga. Ganga water is flowing down. It is touched by the lotus feet, dust of the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it is going through that places, and that is named Ganga is named in different places, different ways. It is Nanda and Alakananda. These two places. These are two rivers. It is the same as Ganga, but that is how it is named. So around that area, there is a big banyan tree under the Kailasha mountain. So that's where Lord Shiva was there, and this banyan tree is not like ordinary banyan tree. This is all explained in fourth canto. I think 23rd chapter or 16th chapter. This is explained. This conversation we see. Where it is under the banyan tree, Lord Shiva was sitting, and then he is speaking about the supreme absolute truth, about devotion service. Narada Muni is asking questions, and Lord Shiva is speaking to him. And the four Kumaras were there, and four Kumaras were related also to Lord Shiva in one essence, because when did four Kumaras and Lord Shiva, what is the relation? Because four Kumaras appeared before Lord Shiva, and then Brahma told them, hey, you are supposed to procreate, expand the creation. You are my sons. You all have to expand. You have to do your job. And then they said, no, we don't want to do that. We want to be transcend. We don't want to further get entangled. Then four Kumaras didn't follow Brahma's advice, going in the path of this materialistic idea. Then Brahma was already angry. So he was a little bit upset. So because of that, then from that time, Lord Shiva was born. So from his forehead or between his eyebrows. So Lord Shiva was born with so much anger, and because that was the mood when Brahma was there in that, because four Kumaras didn't follow the direction of Brahma. And then Lord Shiva was born. So that's why there is a relation. Because of four Kumaras didn't follow the instruction, went in against him. So that time when Lord Shiva was born, and he started devastating everything, whatever he is seeing in the creation. Then Brahma told, no. I'm going to give you the 11 Rudras. I'm going to give you 11 places where you can reside. Don't do this. You are supposed to create, and you are destroying things. That's not what you are supposed to do. Then he got pacified, and then he has been given the positions where he should reside. 11 Rudras. In that way, so there is a relation. So here Lord Shiva is speaking about devotion service to four Kumaras was listening, and Narada Muni was listening under this great banyan tree, which is almost 600 miles breadth and 800 miles height also. Huge banyan tree. Underneath that tree, Lord Shiva is sitting and then speaking about devotion service. And then they pacified him, and then Lord Shiva went back to the arena, and then they started again performing sacrifices. So Daksha was given the goat head because he was being killed. Daksha, his head got chopped. Then by the mercy of Lord Shiva, again they put the goat head, and then they started the sacrifice. So that's why Lord Shiva is not ordinary personality. So we understand the difference between the actual, who is the Yogeswara. So what is yoga? Uniting with the Supreme Person. That is what actual yoga. And then it has many steps in that yoga process, which is starting with even Sota Goswami is mentioning about this yoga process. And there also you can see what is the position of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna and what is the position of all these demigods, including Lord Shiva. Even though he is not Jiva Tattva, but what is the position of including Shiva and all the other demigods are praying. So they are praying to always to Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu. It is mentioned in 12th canto, 13th chapter, beginning verse, glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, last chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Is mentioned, what is that? Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Stunvanti Gayai Divyais Tavai Vedai Krama Upanishadai Vedai Sangha Pada Krama Upanishadai Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pasyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam Vidu Suragana Tasyanti Devaya Namaha. So all the demigods, starting with Yam Brahma Varunendra, starting with Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, Maruta, Sunvanti Divyai Stavai, with the transcendental hymns, they are glorifying Lord Krishna and Lord Vishnu, with Vedic hymns, Veda Sangha, along with Pada Krama Upanishadai Gai, means Upanishads, from Upanishads, Purusha Sukta and various others things from Upanishads and Vedas. They are chanting various transcendental hymns. Yam Samaga, along with even the from Samaveda, beautiful kirtans glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then it is mentioned Dhyanavastita, and then they are meditating on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of God. Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa, with mind focused, Tadgatena Manasa, Pasyantyam Yogino. So, just like the yogis are meditating on that Supreme Person, even all the demigods, including Brahma and Shiva and Indra and Chandra, Varuna and so many others, they are also meditating and praying, offering their prayers in glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then it is mentioned, but nobody can understand. Yasyantam navidur. There is no end to glorify. There is no end. There is no way we can understand the Supreme Person. So that's why even Lord Anantadev is speaking Srimad Bhagavatam endlessly. It is going on even now. He is speaking to four Kumaras all the way at the bottom, Garbhodaka ocean. It is going on. It is not ending at all. Whatever we see Srimad Bhagavatam in this universe, that is one version. In other planets, in other universes, there could be much bigger, because his unending pastimes are not limited. Only some portions of the pastimes are mentioned here, but unlimited. So many incarnations, so many can be given. So the same is, so that's why it is unending, the glories. That's why it is mentioned Yasyantam navidur surasura gana tasmai devaya namaha. All the demigods, everybody. I am offering my obeisances to you, that personality whom everybody is offering in the whole universe, in this whole world. Everybody is offering their prayers and obeisances and glorification, chanting and dancing, so many ways. Gandharvas, Kinnaras, Kimpurushas, whatever they know. Some are kirtan, some are singing, some are meditating, yogis. So this is the way description is given. So that dhyana tadgataya manasa. So that yoga process is to meditate yama, niyama and asana. There is a step-by-step process. This controlling the senses is the main process. Whether you follow through karma yoga, whether we follow through jnana yoga, whether we follow through ashtanga yoga, but ultimately we have to come to that to satisfy the Supreme Personality, to control our senses in connection with the Supreme Lord. That is what actually real yoga. The karma yoga means by your work, you are offering your work. That's when 6th chapter, before Krishna started explaining about the actual yoga process, is defining what is yoga. People think that Prabhupada is explaining. People think that by performing some, they call different names also. Vihanga yoga, what is that? Surya yoga, karma vinyas, so many different names they are coming up with recently. But all is so many types of, we may do so many types of asanas, but asanas is not the main thing. If we are not able to control our senses, we are not able to understand or develop our relationship with the Supreme Person, it's not going to be possible. So we have to offer it. That's why Krishna is explaining in the first verse itself, defining before we get diluted or diverted from the actual yoga process. Anasrita karma phalam, anasrita karma phalam. First line itself is very important. The actual yoga means those who are not attached to the results. Anasrita, asrita means taking shelter. Karma phalam means results. So that means even the yogis, why they are not able to focus, why they are not able to control their senses. They might be opening hospitals or they might be staying longer period of time in this planet, 600,000, 500, so many years. And they might be still young. They are using that mystic power for their own pleasure, for their own enjoyment. They are not using for any other thing. That means it is material. So that's why that. But Krishna is explaining, if you are attached to the results of your work, karma yoga, or through jnana yoga, you are attached to your study of Vedanta Sutra. Ultimately, where we are supposed to go. That's what I recommend. So either you perform karma yoga, where you are supposed to perform activities to use your activities, your talent, your inquisitiveness, your inclinations in Krishna's service to please Him, not to get attached to those results of that work, karma phala. That's why it is anasrita karma phalam. It is mentioned. So that is what actual yoga. So whether you perform karma yoga or jnana yoga means you study so much Vedanta Sutra, you might renounce things and go to some place and want to reside someplace peacefully, nobody is bothering you, and then you want to do, but still our senses will be agitated because we are not in, we haven't perfected. It is a natural progress. The senses must be, and has to develop a taste for higher things. It is not going to, for a time being, you may, because you might be sitting in a forest or you might be sitting in a peaceful place, but as soon as something comes up, then you immediately get agitated. You see a snake or you see some animal or running towards you or something is happening, then immediately you get agitated, fear. But it's not like Haridas Thakur. He was able to chant, even the snake was there, snake only left. He didn't even move. There is no fear. Because for those who are completely spiritual, there will not be any fear whatsoever. Automatically the fear will be lost because he is fully dependent, Saranam, as it is mentioned in this verse. He is taking fully shelter of the Supreme Person. So automatically Krishna is going to protect that personality. So that's why it is very important to understand the actual yoga means not simply asanas. Lord Shiva is also sitting in Virasana while he was explaining to the Narada Muni, that like Padmasam, Samadhi Asam, like that, he was in Virasana position. So the Yama, Nima, Asana, Pranayam, Dharana, Dhyana, Dharana, and Samadhi. So Pratyahara, Dhyana, Dharana, and Samadhi. So in order for us to meditate, first we have to control Yama and Nima, what to do, what not to do. That is there in our devotion service also. So each and every step. Yama and Asana, that means next controlling, sitting postures. We are not able to sit even half an hour, 1 hour. Imagine sitting, but also it is mentioned, whatever yoga you perform, we cannot keep on continuing performing simple activities and thinking that, okay, if I am performing some yoga, I am performing some devotions, or I am performing certain whatever type of yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, bhakti yoga, whatever yoga we perform, and then keep on doing whatever unwanted things, then it is not going to really transform or gross and subtle body. We are not going to really come to this Bhagavad Dharma. It is not going to help us to give up those attachment to the results. So that is not going to be possible. That is what is the biggest problem in today's yoga societies we see. So you know, they will ask you, there is no restrictions. You can do whatever you like. So that is what. Then nobody is telling, nobody is giving the clear guidelines what Shastra is telling. Whatever yoga you perform, there are clearly guidelines. First one is Yama Niyama itself is there. Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar. We cannot come to Pratyahar. If there is no rules and regulations, then how are you going to be come to Pratyahar stage? That means you are completely you are not you are even you will stay without eating, without drinking, without even breathing later on as you come more and more next dharana, and then we cannot come to the next stage itself. We are stuck in that asana, and that asana is not going to help. So that's it. Naturally, in Kali Yuga, it is even more difficult. Krishna himself is telling in Bhagavad Gita. After that's why in this chapter 6, after explaining this Ashtanga Yoga, Hatha Yoga, Krishna is explaining. Out of these, all these topmost yogis who is meditating on me, personal form, yoginam api sarvesham. Out of all these yogis, madgatena antaratmana, whose mind was fully dedicated on me, dedicated to me, engaged in my service in a personal form. Madgatena antaratmana, siddhavan bhajate yoma. So those who are with a faith, so then they are able to, they are the topmost out of all these yogas. After explaining, Krishna has to give because not everybody is at the highest level. That's why Krishna is explaining, okay, come to first karma yoga because everybody wants to do some work, material work. That's why we are here. Okay, all right, you start somewhere. Understand what exactly karma yoga means. It's not that you perform pious, trade, impious, feeding people or giving some education. That is not karma yoga. That is just ordinary karma. You are incurring pious credits and then you will also get attached to the results. So that is just, and then you will enjoy next life. That is not karma yoga actually. That is called karma kanda, fruitive activities. So that is that we have to understand from Shastra. That's what Krishna has explained also. So gradually it takes us to Ashtanga, gradually takes us to Jnana Yoga. In the middle he is giving about Bhakti and then ultimately he is giving us the essence in the 18th chapter as he gave in the 2nd chapter ending, last few verses, bringing us to Samadhi stage, and same way is bringing us to that highest stage of Bhakti in the 18th chapter, last few verses. So same way here, that's what here Yogeswara means. We have to understand whatever yoga we follow, we have to come to the this highest process, which is the Bhakti yoga, which is the easiest to perform. Otherwise, it is klesho adhikatarastesham avyakta asakta chetsam. It is very difficult to perform this all other yogas, especially the Jnana yoga and Ashtanga. It is going to be very difficult because you are not performing in a physical, personal form. You are not. We haven't developed higher taste. If you develop some higher taste with something, then you can give up. Like if you want to give up coffee, tea, then you have to like something else. You have to do something else. In order for you to give up cricket, then you have to play something else or develop taste for something else. In order for us to give up cell phone or movies, then we have to develop some higher taste for something else. Then we can give up the lower things. Otherwise, there is no way we can. So that's why it is very important to understand. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasavajjam rasopesa param društva nivartate. When we develop higher taste only, then we know. Then we can give up. Otherwise, there is no possibility to give up. We keep on, we'll have so many speculations. We'll keep on attached to the things what we are not supposed to. So then we have to come back again to this material world. So that's why it is very important to understand. So that is what it means here. Brohi Yogeswara Krishna. Yogeswara means what is yoga? What kind of yoga we are performing? With what intensity? With what consciousness? Whether we are following the right track or not. So we have to have those checks and balances. So that is the first important point there. Then it is mentioned Brahmanya Dharma Varmani. So Brahmanya means so this Lord is called Brahmanya because he is always protecting. As we offer our bhoga, anything we offer, we chant that Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanitaya. Brahmanya there also because is always worshipped by the Brahmanas. And he is the origin of the Brahmanical culture. What is Brahmana means? What is Brahmana means? He is the highest class, intelligent class. Okay. Intelligent class is coming from the head of the Lord, and the administrative class Kshatriyas are coming from the hands of the Lord, and then the Vaisyas are coming from the stomach, and then the legs are Sudras, this four class, and those who are Chandalas, lower than even the Sudras, this is coming from the lotus feet of the Lord. Those who are demons, demoniac personalities, then they are coming from the backside of the Lord. So in this way it is explained. So that's why it is Brahmanya Dharma Varmani. So Lord is always, He is the origin of Brahmanical culture. So that's why Brahmanas are supposed to engage in the sacrifices, teaching others. Intelligent class means they are supposed to do intelligent work. But in today's world, we cannot find this quality. So that's why it is not by birth, it is by the. So that's why this Varnashrama system is given. Yesterday also we were discussing. The process of Varnashram is to ultimately to please Krishna, to please Lord Vishnu through different processes, whether it's sacrifices of the Brahmanas, reading Shastra and teaching others, or through the Kshatriyas protecting the citizens, or through agriculture and business as Vaishyas, or Sudras serving these all other three other Varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudras. Or in the Brahmacharya Ashram. Brahmacharya Ashram is Brahmacharati iti Brahmachari. That is what Brahmacharya Ashram is. That means one who is executing the Bhagavad Dharma is called Brahmachari. That is what the actual meaning. Achariti means execute. Brahma means one who understands, one who is trying to realize the supreme absolute truth. One who is executing towards supreme absolute truth. He is called actually Brahmachari, not simply wearing the saffron, not simply wearing the white cloth. That is not what it means. It is more than that. That's why the initiation, or whether it's a first or second or sannyas initiation, whatever it is, there is a process, whether it's even the aspiring or the shelter, whatever things we are going through the process. Process is what you call, it's a formal process. But in reality, in order for us to say that really we are initiated or really we have taken whatever that step is, that process is, then we have to follow the prescriptions given, we have to follow the instructions given by the spiritual master and from Srimad Bhagavatam and Shastra and the previous spiritual masters. Then only that is called real. Same way the Brahmachari means simply wearing the neck beads or simply putting the tilak is not going to be good enough. That is the starting point, but it is much more than that. We have to really follow the instructions. So that's why Srimad Bhagavatam helps in that, and that is book Bhagavata and person Bhagavata also. So that's why Brahmanya Dharma Varmani. So Dharma Varmani means this Bhagavad Dharma. So Lord is always protector of this Bhagavad Dharma. That's why he comes again and again. One day of Brahma as himself and also as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and also he is sending in other times he is sending as a sound representation. It is also mentioned, mercy incarnation is the book person Bhagavata, sound incarnation is book Bhagavata. So that's a sound. When we sleep also, during the sleep only, as soon as we hear the sound we get up. Nothing else. Otherwise, we are not even consciousness. We are not so much in conscious at that time when we are asleep. But sound comes, then immediately we wake up and get up. So that the sound is very important. Sound can transform. So that especially the transcendental sound vibration. So that's why you can see even Sukadeva Goswami, who is in a Brahmavadi, who is not ordinary living entity. He himself was captivated. He himself was transformed, attracted. Or his relationship with the Supreme Person was enhanced from Brahmavadi to Bhagavatavadi. He came from Brahmavadi to personal Bhakti Yoga stage. How? By hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam from his own father. He is mentioning Idam Bhagavatam Nama Pranam Brahma Samhitam. I have received knowledge. Aditavan Dvaparadav. Before Dwapara, before the Kali Yuga began, almost at the end of Dwapara Yuga, then I have received from Aditavan Dwaparado, from my own father, Vyasdev. I received this knowledge. So then he is telling that Srimad Bhagavatam, if you hear with rapt attention, with respect, and faith. Tad aham te abhidasyami. That Srimad Bhagavatam. Tad aham te abhidasyami. Who is the servant? Who is the servant of devotees? By hearing from the devotees. Abhidasyami. Mahapaurishugo bhavan. With a great respect. Mahapaurishugo bhavan. Yasya Shraddha datam also. Great respect and faith. Shraddha datam. Asu. Asu means very immediately, very quickly. Syan mukunde mati sati. Immediately, as soon as we have that faith and respect, because we can have respect. We have respect for elders, we have respect for parents, we have respect for seniors, we have respect for in the job place also we have respect. But that doesn't mean so much. Respect is there to in front of the people, then yes, we may show respect. But more than respect is we have to have faith. Faith means not only in talking but also in application, in following the instruction, putting them. If you have faith only, then you listen. If somebody says, if you do this, then you're going to get $1 million. Then if you have faith, then you're going to do that. Then you'll get at least, if not million, at least you'll get some portion of it. If you don't have faith, you will not do that. That means you are not believing it. So that's why here in this verse it is mentioned, not only respecting Srimad Bhagavatam, we have to have a faith that it is not different from Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is sitting there at my home. I should take it up, I should try to read, I should worship. He is also a person. He is also a representation. Vyasadeva has written down. He is the literary incarnation of Supreme Person Vyasadeva. And Sekhtyavesh avatar. And he is written that this Srimad Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. First two cantos are lotus feet of the Lord. So, and the 10th canto is the lotus face of the Lord. So that's why by touching Srimad Bhagavatam, by reading from the book, it helps us. Regularly we should try to read, if not every day, at least once a week. Every day is the best thing, even 5 minutes. But then we have to have that faith. It's a strong faith. Faith will increase. More you read, more you hear, the faith will strengthen. Initially, faith may be a little bit weak, but faith is very much needed. That's why the association of devotees will help to increase that faith. And Srila Prabhupada will increase your faith. More and more you depend on him, on his mercy, and you pray to him. Then he is the one who is going to guide us to the next level, next step in our devotion service. Whom to take shelter, whom to surrender, who is the spiritual master. All these things, Srila Prabhupada is the one, depending on our sincerity and seriousness, he is the one who is guiding. What should we do? How to surrender? This, what to accept, what not to accept. What is favorable? What is that? Brahmanye Dharma Varmani, it is mentioned, Swam Kastam Adunopiti, Dharma Kam Saranam Gata. So where did the religion taken shelter? Saranagati. This Sarana means taking shelter. Saranagati has these phases, accepting Sadvidasa and 6 steps. First one, Anukulyasa Sankalpa, accepting favorable things and rejecting unfavorable things. That is Pratikulyasa Vivarjana. If we are not surrendered, we don't have faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and Founder Acharya and spiritual master and advanced devotee, then we will not be able to apply it. Then we will not be able to understand what to accept. In our job, in our business, in our whatever we do in day-to-day basis, we don't know what to accept, what not to accept. What is favorable? We don't know. We simply take on. Then we will realize after taking it up, it becomes very difficult and challenging to go through those situations. And we will not even be able to even spend time in devotion service because of those actions also. This happens in our life. That's why it is very important to have faith and surrender to Supreme Lord. Before we take up any major decisions, anything, we have to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sincerely pray and also seek the guidance of the devotees. Then it can help us to understand this, what this surrender means. Accepting favorable things and rejecting unfavorable things. And then further it goes on. Anukulyas sankalpa pratikulyas vivarjanam raksha isyati ati visvasu. Is taking Krishna is going to protect. We have to have strong faith despite difficulties. We all will go through difficulties. We shouldn't become like Arjuna. In the beginning of case, Arjuna is thinking Krishna is right there. He is the one who is there driving the chariot. But he lost completely focus. Then he got back to his focus. Then he started surrendering to Krishna in 2.7. But until that, he started for a few minutes. He was he was completely with lamentation. And, he was agitated. His mind, sense, everything got agitated. Gross body and then his mind, intelligent, false, subtle body, everything got agitated. But by Krishna's mercy, after a few minutes, then he got back at least to surrender. So that surrender means he could understand. He has to reject his whatever reasoning he has given. He understood by these whatever reasons I gave, this is not going to help me to come to the eternal stage. This is not going to help me. Just like so, we have to use. That's why we have to surrender. That means our fingers, finger job is when you see a beautiful cake, when you see a nice sweet, whatever we like, then what is fingers will do? What the hands will do? Hands will not eat themselves. So hands will put in the mouth. Hands want to touch it and put it in the mouth. That's what. That means it has to go through the whole body. And so the part of the body has to serve the whole body. Same as the living entities are parts of the Supreme Lord. So the business of the parts of the body, business of the part of the machine, part of the Supreme Whole is supposed to serve in connection, in yoga, united, in relation with the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, there is no use. If your car, one part is broken, just like your, what is that, it makes sound, the, what do you call, silencer. Sometimes in India, especially, we have seen it gets broken, then it's going to make a huge sound. Unless you fix that and you attach that back to it, then your sound is resolved. So there is no use. If it is a main piece, something gone, then you have to attach that part or portion to that particular machine for it to perform, whether it's a fan or a big engine or whatever it is. Same with us. The living entities must be always united in connection, in relation with the Supreme Lord. So in whatever we do, whatever job or business, community projects, you take up anything, gardening, farming, everything, you name every activity. There is no activity in any day, even though it seems to be material, ordinary, nitya karma, naimitya karma, to cleansing our body. Everything has to be in relation with Krishna. Otherwise, it will be simply like I was reading in Tibet and some place in China, they take bath once a year. Now they are coming to now once a month or something. So Indradimna Maharaj was explaining when he went to Mount Kailash. He was explaining all that story, how when he met some of these people who are chanting on some of the beads, they are following, I think, before Buddha, they are following some other personality. Born, religion name is Born, not Jain, Born. And they chant on some of the beads. They also do the pradakshina of that place, their pilgrimage sites. To some in every religion, this thing, but that is religion means people think it is a faith. That means you can change from one faith, Christian to Muslim to this is only this life. Next life, do you know what you are going to be Hindu or Muslim or Christian? So that means that's a faith. It can change. But what doesn't change? That's why it is mentioned Bhagavad Dharma. It is mentioned Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana means eternal, which shouldn't change. What is that Dharma which doesn't change? Serving. That's why the finger is serving the body. The hand is serving the body. Legs are serving the body. Same as that is the actual Dharma of the living entity. As parts of the body, we are supposed to serve the whole of the body. So that is what is the main thing. That's why we have to see what is to accept, what is to reject. So favorable things and rejecting and taking. Always having the deep faith, strong faith that Krishna is going to protect me no matter what situation I am in. So the Krishna and his devotees are going to protect me. So we have to have that faith on the spiritual master and founder Acharya. So then it will help us. If you don't have that faith, then keep on looking back, let me do my own thing, then it's not going to help us. Whatever we do, even materially also, it's not going to help us. Krishna is mentioning that in Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Shastra Vidhim Ustrijya. When we don't follow the Shastra, then there is no result, there is no real benefit in the material life also. Yes, Shastra Vidhim Ustrijya Vartate Kamaka Na Siddhim Navapnoti. Na labate param. Even no perfection, even in the material life also. We have to struggle a lot. We have to put so much effort to just move from one stage to another stage to get few dollars. That will be our condition. If we don't follow the Shastra, we get a hard lesson. We will not realize now, but we will realize after a few years. And by that time, it's already too late. So that's why it is very important to understand the point of Shastra. We spent our time already enough to research and do our own way, our ideas, our speculations, our thoughts. But we have to surrender to Shastra. We have to surrender, at least use our intelligence, our senses, whatever God has given to understand this subject matter. What is Bhagavad Dharma? What I am supposed to do on day-to-day basis. When there is a problem, when there is a new thing I am approaching, then how to whether I accept or reject, how to look at things. So all these things you have to look at. So that's what Krishna is mentioning here in this specific verse. To understand this Srimad Bhagavad Dharma, to understand the ultimately attain Krishna Prema, come to that supreme Dharma, then we have to take shelter of the book Bhagavata or person Bhagavata. So then only, that is the only way we can increase our attraction for the holy name. We see that Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram. What is that? Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram, Sitaduli Sadrusam Vichintaya, Sitaduli Sadrusam Vichintaya. Forget that. This is the sixth ashtam where it is mentioned about the dust of the lotus feet. It is Mahaprabhu is chanting this verse. Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram. I want to become a servant. Kinkaram means servant of that Nanda Maharaj, son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna. Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram. Patitam Vishame Bhavam. Then Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Budir. Yeah, I am fallen in this ocean of this material world. Please pick me up and make me as a particle, dust particle at your lotus feet. That's what Mahaprabhu is chanting this verse. What he is telling us, if you are in a great ocean, if you are in Atlantic Ocean or somehow or other you fallen down in a big river or big ocean, then what we do? How we can? Only a person who can take us out from that place, even if 1 inch outside of that water, bring us outside, then we are safe, we are protected. So that is done. That can be done only by the Supreme Personality of Godhead through His devotees. So when we take shelter of them, then they can take us. They can allow us and take us from this material ocean, from one end to and enter into the spiritual world. That's what it means. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining. And then take a dust particle. So become a dust particle. That means don't be thinking you are already a great devotee. Be always thinking that you are minute. You are minute. You are anu. You are not the greatest. So and then in that mood, when you try to surrender, try to become a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, especially son of Nanda Maharaj, especially Radha Shyam Sundar, Yashodanandam. So that personality, then we will be able to develop attraction for the holy name. You will be able to see the qualities of the Supreme Lord. You will be able to see the positive qualities of a devotee, positive qualities of another person. So this will help in the Grihastha ashram. This will help in whatever ashram and situation, job and every place. We always see the positive qualities. Otherwise, if we are not in that position of a kinkara, then we don't see the positive. We are always trying to look for negative qualities only. So that's why it is very important. When you start seeing the positive qualities, then it enhances our relationship. That positive qualities only we can develop is by through Supreme Personality of Godhead. Without connecting with Supreme Person, there is no way we can develop these positive qualities. We can see Dhritarashtra, we see a number of examples. This verse is also telling, you can see the examples of Srimad Bhagavatam. Why do you say that? Why should I take up Srimad Bhagavatam? From beginning to end, you see, who is the brahmachari who has taken shelter of the Supreme Person, who has gone through difficulties, came out victorious? Bhishma Pitama, first brahmachari, and who has gone through greatest difficulties whole life. He didn't get married, but he has to go through so many difficulties in his life in so many different ways. He has to be with his unwanted people, Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, opposite party. But he is patiently going through as a will of the providence. And then ultimately, so he has taken shelter of who? Did he take shelter of anybody else? No, he had taken shelter of Lord Krishna only. And then that's when he left his body. Narada Muni is also brahmachari. You can see he has also taken shelter of the Bhakti Vedantis. The 5th, 6th chapter you see, Vyasadev. N number of examples. The whole Srimad Bhagavatam is giving various types of people who have gone through their life, different situations, different difficulties. Everybody gone through difficulty. Even great Mahajana like Bhishma, great Mahajana like Vidura. Yamaraj is a Mahajana. But he also has to go through. Pandavas, great devotees, they also have to go through these difficulties. Because anybody who is in this material world, they all have to go through difficulty. But with what consciousness, how they are operating, how they are seeing negative things as a positive things, how they are advanced in those situations also. That's what we have to learn. So that's why this verse is being given. Sota Goswami, Saunakand, others sitting 1,000-year sacrifice they are performing. They don't need to ask these questions, but they are asking these questions. First of all, they want to understand. They are performing sacrifice. They thought by performing 1,000-year sacrifice, we are going to really become perfect in our life. But they understood this Bhagavatam didn't begin in the beginning days of 1,000-year sacrifice. It started after some years. After they started, they realized the essence more than the sacrifice. It is more important to take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, or book Bhagavatam, and also person Bhagavatam. Otherwise, they wouldn't have approach. If they don't have that consciousness, the respect, the faith, then they wouldn't have received Sota Goswami. Sota Goswami wouldn't have walked in. It is an arrangement of the super soul who is sitting as Paramatma in them. Because of their sincerity and respect and faith, then automatically they are received. They received guidance, they received initiation from Sota Goswami. They are able to receive that knowledge. Otherwise, it is not possible. We can try in so many ways, but if we don't have that, there is no way we can progress to one step to another step without that quality. So that's how. So then they understood, then approach book Bhagavata and approach person Bhagavata like Sota Goswami. And then you see these examples, starting with the example of Narada Muni, Bhishma Pitama, Parikshit Maharaj. So that means Brahmachari is covered, Parikshit Maharaj Grihastha, his problem is covered. As a king Kshatriya, that is covered too. Like this, whole Srimad Bhagavatam, you see all this Varnashrama system, whether it's Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, or Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. All these 8 ashrams, 8 aspects, giving in different examples, what they have gone through, how they approached. All of them approach personality, whether it is Shiva or Brahma or Krishna, through a devotee of the Lord. Narada Muni, Vyasadev, or the Navayogendras, Rishabhadev, so many Bharat Maharaj, so many personalities, all these are person Bhagavata. And then obviously book Bhagavata is also there. But book Bhagavata cannot be understood without person Bhagavata. So both has to go hand in hand. So that is why we have to understand by looking at this essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, what it entails. And that is given a glimpse in this particular last verse of this chapter. For us in our life, we have to focus on these 2 aspects of person Bhagavata and book Bhagavata more and more sincerely and seriously, thoroughly. So then automatically our life will be transformed very quickly. As Asu, Siddha Datam Asu, very quickly, Syam Mukunde Matisati. Very quickly we can attain the shelter of Lord Mukunda. So that means we will be able to progress in devotions very quickly, rapidly. Anartha Nivurti, Nishtha and Ruchi and Asakti and Bhava and Krishna Prema. So then we will be able to understand the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the highest mood. So otherwise it is not possible to understand what it means, how he is crying and dancing what it means. The whole Chaitanya Charitamrita will not be able to understand or relish, will not be able to taste the real nectar. Mahaprabhu is tasting the nectar every day, every minute, every verse, through each and every personality. Rupa Goswami or Sanatana Goswami, Advaita Acharya, all personalities, is tasting so many different rasas and mellows with all these personalities. So, but we can only relish and understand that when we take Srimad Bhagavatam, book Bhagavata and person Bhagavata, then only we can understand the next subject matter, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Otherwise, we will not be able to understand that at all. With that, we will stop here. Any question?